He was the most feared man in the city. But the mistake that destroyed his empire was falling in love with the wrong woman. The witness. The warehouse smelled like rust and old concrete. Mira stood in the center of it, hands tied behind her back, blood trickling from her split lip. 3 men surrounded her. One had a gun. One had a bat. The third just watched. She didn't cry. She'd been grabbed 2 hours ago. Wrong place, wrong time. She'd witnessed something she wasn't supposed to see. A handoff in an alley behind the diner where she worked nights. Money. Guns. Faces she'd never forget. They'd dragged her here. Threatened her. Hit her once to make a point. But Mira had learned something a long time ago. Fear was a choice. "You gonna talk?" the one with the bat asked. His name was Ricky. She'd heard the others say it. Mira lifted her chin. "I don't know what you're talking about." Ricky laughed. "You saw us. You saw the deal. You think we're stupid?" "I think you're desperate," she said quietly. The words hung in the air. Ricky's face went red. He stepped closer, the bat rising. "You got a smart mouth for someone who's about to." "Enough." The voice came from the doorway. Deep. Calm. Final. Everyone froze. A man stepped into the dim light. Tall. Dark suit. No tie. His face was sharp, cold, like it had been carved from stone. His eyes were black and empty, the kind that had seen too much and felt too little. This was Vincent Moretti. Everyone in the city knew the name. Most were smart enough never to say it out loud. He walked slowly, hands in his pockets, like he had all the time in the world. The men stepped aside. Ricky lowered the bat immediately, suddenly looking like a child caught stealing. Vincent stopped 3 feet from Mira. He studied her. Silent. Unreadable. Most people looked away from Vincent Moretti. It was survival instinct. But Mira had stopped trusting her instincts a long time ago. She'd learned that looking away only made predators hungrier. So she stared back. Vincent's eyes narrowed slightly. The smallest reaction. But in a man who gave nothing away, it was everything. "You saw something," Vincent said. "Not a question." "I saw 3 idiots making a mess in an alley," Mira replied. One of the men cursed. Another shifted his weight, hand moving toward his gun. Vincent raised a single finger. Everyone froze again. His gaze didn't leave hers. "You're not afraid." "I'm terrified," she said honestly. "But crying won't change anything. Begging won't change anything. So why waste the energy?" Vincent tilted his head, just slightly. Like he was trying to figure her out. Like she was a puzzle he didn't have the pieces for yet. "What's your name?" "Mira." "Mira what?" "Does it matter?" A long pause. The warehouse was so quiet she could hear her own heartbeat. Then Vincent did something unexpected. He smiled. It wasn't warm. It wasn't kind. But it was real. Like he'd just discovered something interesting. "Cut her loose," he said. Ricky blinked. "Boss." "Cut. Her. Loose." But she saw the... Vincent turned his head slowly. Looked at Ricky. Didn't say a word. Ricky went pale. "Yes, boss." "Right away." One of the men rushed forward, sliced the rope with a knife. Myra's wrists burned as the blood rushed back. She rubbed them slowly, not breaking eye contact with Vincent. Vincent turned to leave, then stopped at the doorway. He looked back over his shoulder. "Mira." She waited. "You didn't see anything tonight." "Understood." She nodded. "Good." He paused. "And if you ever lie to me again, I won't be this generous." He left. The warehouse door slammed shut. The men scattered immediately, avoiding her eyes. Mira stood alone in the dim light, rubbing her wrists, listening to the sound of expensive car engines starting outside. She should have felt relief. She should have collapsed. Should have cried. Instead, she felt something else. Something dangerous. Curiosity. Would you trust him? Mira didn't go to the police. She wasn't stupid. She knew how the city worked. She'd lived here her whole life, or at least the part of her life that mattered. Cops didn't go after men like Vincent Moretti. They looked the other way, cashed their checks, bought nice houses in the suburbs, and went home to their families. Going to the police would be suicide. So she went back to work. The diner was called Rosie's. It had cracked vinyl booths, a jukebox that only played 3 songs, and coffee that tasted like burnt tires. The regulars were truck drivers, night shift workers, and insomniacs who had nowhere else to go at 3 a.m. It wasn't much, but it was hers. Well, she worked there. Same thing. She poured coffee, took orders, smiled at regulars, pretended the bruise on her jaw was from slipping on ice. Her manager, Eddie, didn't believe her. But Eddie had worked in this neighborhood for 30 years. He knew when to ask questions and when to shut up. This was a shut-up situation. 3 nights passed. Mira worked her shifts, walked home, locked her apartment door, slept with a knife under her pillow. Nothing happened. No mysterious cars. No threatening phone calls. No men in suits. Maybe Vincent Moretti had already forgotten about her. Maybe she'd been too small, too insignificant to remember. On the 4th night, Vincent walked into the diner. Myra's hand froze on the coffee pot. He sat in the corner booth. Alone. No bodyguards visible, though she had no doubt they were nearby. No theatrics. Just a man in a dark coat, reading a newspaper like it was 1995. Eddie whispered from behind the counter, his voice tight with panic. "That's Vincent Moretti." "I know," Mira said quietly. "Then get over there and take his order before he decides he doesn't like the wallpaper and burns the place down." Mira grabbed her notepad, steadied her breathing, walked over. Vincent didn't look up. Coffee. Black. She poured with a steady hand. Not a single drop spilled. He still didn't look up. "Anything else?" she asked. "Sit." "I'm working." "Sit, Mira." Her name in his mouth felt like a threat and a secret at the same time. Like he'd been carrying it around, turning it over, deciding what to do with it. She glanced at Eddie. He made a frantic, do what he says gesture. She sat. Vincent folded the newspaper slowly. Finally looked at her. His eyes scanned her face, paused on the fading bruise. "You didn't go to the cops," he said. "Would it have mattered?" "No." Silence settled between them. Not uncomfortable exactly. Just heavy, like they were both waiting for something. "Why are you here?" Mira asked. "I eat." "Not here. Men like you don't eat at places like this." Vincent's mouth twitched. Almost a smile. "Almost. You're observant." "I'm not blind. Most people are." He leaned back slightly, still studying her. "They see what they want to see. Or what they're told to see. You see what's actually there. Is that a compliment?" "It's a fact." Mira frowned. "You still haven't answered my question. I came to see if you were as smart as I thought." "And? You are." He paused. "You didn't panic. Didn't run. Didn't talk. Most people would have done all 3. You did none. Maybe I'm just too tired to care anymore." Vincent's eyes darkened. For a moment, just a moment, something flickered there. Recognition, maybe. Understanding. "You're either very smart or very broken," he said quietly. "Maybe both," Mira said. The jukebox kicked on. Some old country song about lost love and long highways. The only other customer in the diner, an elderly man named Pete, shuffled to the bathroom. They were alone. "Why didn't you let them kill me?" Mira asked. Vincent didn't answer right away. He picked up the coffee cup, took a sip, set it down with precision. Then, "I don't waste bullets on people who aren't a threat." "But I saw." "You saw nothing," he interrupted. His voice was calm, but there was steel underneath. Cold and final. "And you'll keep seeing nothing. Because if you don't, next time, I won't stop them. Do you understand?" Mira nodded slowly. Vincent stood, pulled out his wallet, dropped $100 bill on the table. "Keep the change." He walked toward the door. Mira watched him go. Then, before she could stop herself, "Vincent." He stopped, turned slightly. "Why do you care if I'm smart or broken?" He looked at her for a long moment. "Because smart people survive," he said. "And broken people understand things others don't." He left. The bell above the door chimed. Eddie rushed over. "What did he say? Are we okay? Is the diner okay?" "We're fine," Mira whispered. But that wasn't entirely true. Because Vincent Moretti had just told her 3 things. 1, he was watching her. 2, he didn't want to kill her. 3, he saw something in her that interested him. And somehow, that was more terrifying than a threat. What would you do in her place? Vincent didn't come back to the diner the next night. Or the night after that. But Mira felt him everywhere. A black car idling across the street when she left work at 2 a.m. A man in a suit standing on the corner, pretending to smoke but never lighting the cigarette. The way her landlord suddenly stopped asking about her late rent. Someone was watching. Someone was paying attention. She should have been terrified. Instead, she felt strangely safe. Which was insane. Vincent Moretti wasn't safe. He was a predator in expensive clothes. A killer with good manners. But he'd had 100 chances to hurt her, and he hadn't. That had to mean something. Didn't it? A week passed. Mira worked. Slept. Tried not to think about dark eyes and dangerous smiles. She failed. Then on a Tuesday night, the flowers arrived. White lilies. No card. Left on her apartment doorstep in a crystal vase that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Mira stared at them for a long time. Lilies meant death in some cultures, purity in others, rebirth in a few. She didn't know which message Vincent was sending. Maybe all three. She brought them inside, put them on her kitchen counter, stared at them while she ate leftover takeout. The next day there were more. This time, with a note written in precise handwriting. Dinner. Saturday. 8 p.m. A car will come for you. Don't make me ask twice. V. Mira crumpled the note, then smoothed it out. Read it again. She wasn't going. She wasn't some girl who got flowers from a mobster and said yes like this was a twisted fairy tale. She had a choice. She always had a choice. Friday night, she worked a double shift, came home exhausted, fell into bed fully clothed. Saturday morning, she woke up determined. She wasn't going. By noon, she'd convinced herself. By 5 p.m., she was pacing her apartment. By 7 p.m., she was standing in front of her closet, staring at clothes she never wore. At 7:45 p.m., there was a knock on her door. She opened it. A man in a suit stood there. Not Vincent. Someone else. Tall. Bald. Expressionless. He looked like he could break her in half without blinking. "Mr. Moretti is waiting," he said. His voice was flat, professional. "I'm not going." "He said you'd say that." The man handed her a garment bag. Mira didn't take it. "Tell him I said no. He also said to tell you this isn't a request, Miss Mira. It's an invitation. But if you refuse, he'll understand. He asked me to give you this either way." He handed her an envelope along with the garment bag. Then he turned and walked away. Mira stood in her doorway, holding both items, completely confused. She closed the door, opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. "You're right. You have a choice. You always have a choice. If you don't want to come, don't. But I'd like to see you again. And I think you'd like to see me too. The dress is yours regardless. No strings. V." Mira sat on her couch. Read the note 3 more times. Looked at the garment bag. This was insane. She should throw it away. Forget Vincent Moretti existed. Go back to her normal, quiet life. But her life had never been quiet. It had been empty. And for the first time in years, she felt something other than numbness. She opened the garment bag. Inside was a dress. Black. Simple. Elegant. The kind of thing she'd see in magazines and never imagine herself wearing. No sequins. No plunging neckline. Just beautiful. She held it up to herself in the mirror. It would fit perfectly. Of course it would. Mira closed her eyes, took a deep breath, made a choice. At exactly 8 p.m., she walked outside. The black car was waiting. The same bald man opened the door for her. "You look lovely, Miss Mira." "Thank you," she said quietly. She got in. The car drove through the city, away from her neighborhood, away from everything familiar. 20 minutes later, they stopped in front of a restaurant she'd never heard of. No sign out front, just a red door and a man in a tuxedo standing guard. The door opened. Inside it was quiet, dim lighting, candles on every table, classical music playing softly. Only 3 tables in the entire restaurant. Vincent sat at one of them. He stood when she entered. A strange, old-fashioned gesture that didn't fit a man who'd probably ordered a dozen murders before breakfast. He was wearing a different suit. Still dark. Still perfectly tailored. But there was something different about him tonight. He looked nervous. Vincent Moretti. Nervous. "You came," he said. "You gave me a choice," Mira replied. "That's new. I'm trying something different." "How's that working out?" A small smile. "I'll let you know." She sat. He sat. A waiter appeared like a ghost, poured wine, disappeared just as silently. "Why am I here?" Mira asked. Vincent leaned forward, elbows on the table. His hands were steady, but she noticed the way his fingers tapped once, just once, against the wood. "Because I'm trying to figure you out," he said. "I'm not a puzzle." "Everyone's a puzzle," he said. "You just have more pieces than most. And some of them don't fit the picture I expected." Mira picked up her wine glass. Didn't drink. Just held it. "What picture did you expect? Someone who'd cry, or beg, or try to use her looks to get out of trouble." "Sorry to disappoint." "You didn't," Vincent said quietly. "You surprised me. And I don't get surprised often." They sat in silence for a moment. The waiter returned with food Mira hadn't ordered. It looked expensive. She had no idea what half of it was. Vincent noticed her hesitation. If you don't like it, we can get something else. A burger. Pizza. Whatever you want. It's fine, she said. Mira. She looked up. You don't have to pretend with me, he said. Not here. Something in his voice made her chest tight. What do you want from me? She asked quietly. Vincent didn't answer right away. He picked up his fork, set it down, looked at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. I want to know why you're not afraid, he said finally. I am afraid. No, he said. You're careful. That's different. Mira looked down at her plate. I grew up in foster care. 12 different homes between ages 5 and 18. Some were okay. Most weren't. I learned pretty early that fear doesn't protect you. It just makes you easy to break. Vincent's eyes darkened. So I stopped breaking, Mira continued. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly. I stopped crying. I stopped hoping people would save me. And I survived. That's all I've ever done. Survive. Silence. Vincent stared at her like she'd just said something in a language he'd forgotten he knew. You remind me of someone, he said finally. Who? Me. The word hung between them. Heavy. True. Terrifying. Myra's chest tightened. What happened to you? Vincent's jaw clenched. For a moment, she thought he'd shut down. Change the subject. Walk away. Instead, he said, I was 8 when I watched my father get shot in front of me. 3 bullets. He bled out in my arms on the kitchen floor. I tried to stop it, pressed my hands against the wounds, begged him not to die. His voice was flat, empty, but underneath there was something raw, something that had never healed. He died anyway, Vincent continued. And the man who killed him looked at me and said, You're more ready now. Act like it. I learned the same lesson you did, Mira. Fear doesn't matter. Power does. Control does. If you're not the one holding the gun, you're the one bleeding on the floor. Myra's throat burned. I'm sorry. Vincent looked away. Don't be. It made me who I am. Is that a good thing? He laughed. It was bitter and broken. No. They sat in silence. Not uncomfortable. Not warm. Just there. 2 broken people who'd learned the same terrible truth. The world doesn't save you. You save yourself. Or you don't. And neither of them had saved themselves. They'd just learned to survive the wreckage. Is he protecting her or controlling her? Mira started seeing Vincent 3 times a week. Not dates. Not exactly. He'd show up at the diner. Sit in the corner booth. Order coffee. Read the newspaper. Wait for her shift to end. Then they'd drive. No destination. No plan. Just Vincent behind the wheel of his sleek black car, and Mira in the passenger seat, watching the city blur past. They didn't talk much, but the silence wasn't empty. It was the kind of silence that said, I don't need to explain myself to you, and you don't need to fix me. It was the kind of silence Mira had never experienced before. One night, Vincent pulled the car over near the docks. They sat on the hood, staring at the water. The city lights reflected on the surface like broken stars. Do you ever regret it? Mira asked. Regret what? The life you chose. Vincent didn't answer right away. He pulled out a cigarette, lit it, took a long drag. I didn't choose it, he said finally. It chose me. My father was Moretti. His father before him. I was born into blood. I just learned how to swim in it instead of drowning. Mira looked at him. You could leave. He laughed. It was sharp and humorless. No, I couldn't. Why not? Because the moment I walk away, I'm dead. And so is everyone I've ever protected. He took another drag. This life doesn't let you go, Mira. It holds on until there's nothing left. Mira frowned. Who are you protecting? Vincent's jaw tightened. He didn't answer for a long time. Then, my mother. My sister. People who work for me and their families. People who don't deserve this life but got caught in it because of me. Where are they? Safe. Hidden. Far away from this city. He looked at her. That's the deal. I stay. I play the part. I keep the empire running. And they get to live normal lives. Myra's chest ached. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. That's not an excuse. Vincent smiled sadly. No. But it's reality. They sat there for another hour. Not touching. Not speaking. Just existing. Mira found herself wanting to reach for his hand. To tell him it would be okay. To offer some comfort. But she didn't. Because she knew better. Vincent Moretti didn't want comfort. He wanted someone who understood that some cages are built from love, and those are the ones you can never escape. Another night, Vincent took her to a bookstore. It was closed, but the owner opened it for them anyway. Didn't ask questions, just unlocked the door and disappeared. Pick anything you want, Vincent said. Mira stared at the rows and rows of books. Why? Because you should have things that make you happy. I know you don't need them, Vincent interrupted gently. But you should have them anyway. Mira walked through the aisles, fingers trailing over spines. Poetry, classics, mysteries, romance novels she'd never admit to wanting. She picked 3 books. Vincent bought 12. I only chose 3, she protested. You looked at 12. Looking isn't the same as wanting. Yes, it is, Vincent said. You just don't let yourself want things. Mira stared at him. He stared back. Why do you care? She whispered. Vincent's expression softened. Just slightly. Because someone should. They left with a bag full of books. Mira carried them like treasure. But not every night was quiet. One evening, Vincent came to her apartment unannounced. She opened the door to find him standing there, blood on his knuckles, breathing hard. What happened? She asked. Nothing. Vincent, can I come in? She stepped aside. He walked in, paced her small living room like a caged animal. Mira watched him. Waited. Finally. I had to make an example tonight. Someone betrayed the family. I had to handle it. Handle it? He looked at her. His eyes were dark. Empty. Yes. Mira understood what that meant. Do you want to talk about it? No. Do you want me to say it's okay? Vincent stopped pacing. I don't want you to lie to me. Then I won't. Mira stepped closer. What you did tonight, I don't know if it was right or wrong. I don't know your world well enough to judge. But I know you're standing in my apartment because you needed to be somewhere that isn't drowning in blood. So sit down. I'll make coffee. And we'll just be. Vincent stared at her. Then he sat on her worn couch. She made coffee in her ancient coffee maker. They sat together in silence. He didn't touch her. She didn't ask questions. But when he left an hour later, he looked a little more human. Thank you, he said at the door. For what? For not being afraid of me. I am afraid of you, Mira said honestly. I'm just more interested than I am afraid. Vincent smiled. A real one. That's a dangerous combination. I know. He left. Mira locked the door. Leaned against it. Wondered what the hell she was doing. Falling for a killer. A monster. A man who made people disappear. But also a man who bought her books. Who sat in silence when he was drowning. Who looked at her like she was the only real thing in his world. She was in trouble. Deep, dangerous trouble. And she wasn't sure she wanted to escape. Do you think this is love or survival? It happened on a Thursday. Mira was closing the diner alone. Eddie had left early, his wife was sick. She was wiping down tables when she heard the bell above the door. She turned. 3 men walked in. Not Vincent's men. She knew immediately. Wrong energy. Wrong walk. Wrong eyes. We're closed, Mira said calmly. The leader, tall, scarred face, gold teeth, grinned. We're not here for food. Myra's hand tightened on the rag. Then you need to leave. You're more Eddie's girl, right? Her stomach dropped. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play dumb. He stepped closer. We've been watching. He picks you up. Takes you places. Buys you things. More Eddie's gone soft. And we're gonna send him a message. Mira backed toward the counter. Her mind raced. The knife. There was a knife under the register. I'm nobody, she said. You've got the wrong person. Sure you are. Gold teeth nodded to the others. Grab her. They moved fast. Mira grabbed the knife, swung wild. Caught one across the arm. He screamed. Another grabbed her wrist, slammed it against the counter. The knife clattered away. A hand tangled in her hair. She fought. Screamed. Clawed. But there were 3 of them. They dragged her toward the door. Then, bang. The window shattered. Everyone froze. Vincent stood outside, gun raised, face blank. Not angry. Not scared. Just nothing. And that nothing was more terrifying than rage. Let her go, Vincent said quietly. Gold teeth laughed. You're outnumbered, Moretti. Am I? Shadows moved behind Vincent. 5 men. 10. Armed. Silent. Gold teeth's smile died. Let her go. They released Mira. She stumbled back, gasping. Vincent walked into the diner. Slow. Controlled. Like he had all the time in the world. He stopped in front of Gold Teeth. You made a mistake tonight, Vincent said softly. Look, we didn't. You touched something that belongs to me. We were just... Bang. Vincent shot him. Point blank. Gold teeth collapsed. The other two ran. Vincent's men blocked the door. Bang. Bang. Both dropped. Silence. Vincent holstered the gun. Turned to Mira. Are you hurt? She shook her head, trembling. He walked to her. Cupped her face. Checked for injuries with careful hands. You're bleeding, he said, touching a cut on her cheek. I'm fine. You're not fine. His voice cracked. Just slightly. You're not fine and it's my fault. Vincent. This is what I am, Mira. This is what being near me means. He gestured to the bodies. Death. Violence. Fear. This is the world I live in. And now you're in it. Tears ran down her face. Vincent's expression crumbled. Just for a second. Then he pulled her into his arms. She collapsed against his chest, sobbing. He held her tight, one hand in her hair, the other around her waist. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. I should have stayed away. I should have. Don't, Mira choked out. Don't say that. They could have killed you. But they didn't. Because I got here in time. What if I hadn't? Mira pulled back, looked up at him. But you did. You were watching. You protected me. I put you in danger in the first place. I chose this, she said. I chose you. I knew what you were. I'm not some innocent victim, Vincent. I knew the risks. His eyes glistened. You shouldn't have to. Maybe not. But here we are. Vincent stared at her. Then he did something she'd never seen him do. He closed his eyes. Took a shaky breath. Like he was fighting something inside himself. When he opened them again, they were clearer. Colder. Decided. Pack a bag, he said. What? You're not staying here. Not anymore. It's not safe. Vincent. This isn't a discussion, Mira. Either you come with me willingly, or I carry you. But you're not spending another night alone. She should have been angry. Should have told him he couldn't control her. But she was exhausted. Scared. And some part of her, the part that had been alone for too long, wanted to say yes. Okay, she whispered. Relief flooded his face. He called someone. Gave orders. His men moved efficiently, cleaning the scene like they'd done it 1,000 times. Within 20 minutes, it was like nothing had happened. Except for the 3 body bags being loaded into a van. Vincent drove her to her apartment. Waited while she packed. She didn't have much. Clothes. Books. A few photos. Everything fit in one bag. Ready? He asked. She looked around her tiny apartment. The place she'd lived for 3 years. The first place that had ever really felt like hers. Yeah, she said. I'm ready. They left. And Mira knew with absolute certainty that her old life was over. Whatever came next would be something entirely different. Would you stay? Or would you run? The penthouse. Vincent's place wasn't what Mira expected. She'd imagined something cold. Modern. All glass and steel and sharp edges. Instead, it was warm. The penthouse took up the entire top floor of a building downtown. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. But inside, it was filled with dark wood, leather furniture, bookshelves that climbed to the ceiling. Art on the walls. Real art. Not the kind bought to show off, but the kind someone actually loved. This is yours? Mira asked. Yes. It's not what I expected. Vincent smiled slightly. What did you expect? I don't know. Something more scary. I get enough scary at work, he said. Home should be different. He showed her to a bedroom. Large. Comfortable. Attached bathroom. This is yours, he said. Lock on the door. Your own space. I won't come in unless you ask me to. Mira set down her bag. Where's your room? Down the hall. Vincent. He turned. Thank you, she said. For not making this weird. He looked confused. Why would I make it weird? I don't know. I thought you might expect. Understanding dawned. No. God, no. Mira, you're here because I need to keep you safe. Not because I expect anything from you. Your room has a lock. Use it if you want. Leave if you want. I'm not keeping you prisoner. Then what am I? Vincent was quiet for a long moment. You're the person I can't stop thinking about, he said finally. And the person I'm most afraid of losing. But what you are to me, that's up to you to decide. He left her alone. Mira sat on the bed, looked around the room, and realized she felt safer here than she'd felt anywhere in years. The first few days were strange. Vincent left early, came home late. She rarely saw him. But she wasn't alone. There was a housekeeper named Rosa who spoke broken English and made incredible food. She treated Mira like a granddaughter, fussing over her, making sure she ate. There were guards. Always two at the entrance. They nodded respectfully, but never spoke to her. And there were the quiet moments. Mira would wake up to find fresh coffee already made, notes on the counter in Vincent's handwriting, breakfast in the fridge. Rosa made your favorite. V. Books appearing on her nightstand. The next 2 weeks were the strangest of Myra's life. She lived in Vincent's penthouse like a bird in a gilded cage. Comfortable. Safe. Trapped. She read. Watched movies. Learned to cook from Rosa, who seemed thrilled to have someone to teach. Vincent was gone most days. Business. Meetings. Things he didn't talk about and Mira didn't ask. But every night he came home. And every night they sat together. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they didn't. But they were never apart. One evening, Vincent came home with paint supplies. What's this? Mira asked. You mentioned you used to paint. Before foster care got bad. Mira stared at the easel, the canvases, the oil paints in every color imaginable. That was years ago. So, I'm probably terrible now. Then be terrible. Who cares? Mira felt her throat tighten. Why do you do this? Do what? Pay attention. Remember things. Care about things that don't matter. Vincent set down the supplies. Walked over to her. Because they matter to you. That makes them matter to me. Mira looked up at him. I don't know how to handle this. Handle what? Someone being kind to me. Someone caring. I'm not used to it. Vincent's expression softened. Then get used to it. Because I'm not stopping. That night, Mira painted for the first time in 12 years. It was terrible. The proportions were wrong. The colors muddy. But Vincent hung it on the wall anyway. It's awful, Mira protested. It's yours, Vincent said. That makes it perfect. Another night, Vincent taught her to shoot. They went to a private range in the basement of the building. Just the two of them. I don't want to kill anyone, Mira said, staring at the gun. I don't want you to either. But I want you to be able to protect yourself if I'm not there. He stood behind her. Adjusted her stance. His hands on her hips, her shoulders. Professional. Careful. But Mira felt the heat of him anyway. Breathe, he said. Don't anticipate the recoil. Just squeeze. Slowly. She fired. Missed the target completely. Again. They practiced for an hour. By the end, she could hit the target. Not well. But enough. Good, Vincent said. Again tomorrow. You really think I'll need this? Vincent's jaw tightened. I hope not. But I'm not taking chances with your life. The cracks started showing on day 16. Vincent came home late. Poured himself a drink. Then another. Mira watched from the couch. Bad day. You could say that. Want to talk about it? No. He drank in silence. Mira went back to her book. 10 minutes later. One of my men betrayed me. Mira looked up. Vincent was staring at his glass. Someone I trusted. Someone whose family I protected. He sold information to the Rossis. What did you do? What I had to do. Mira understood. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's the life. He drained his glass. But sometimes I wonder what the point is. I protect people who betray me. I build empires on blood. I kill to keep peace. And for what? For your family. Your mother and sister. They don't even know who I really am, Vincent said bitterly. They think I'm a businessman. They don't know about the bodies. The deals. The things I've done. Would you tell them? God, no. It would destroy them. Mira set down her book. Walked over. Sat beside him. So you carry it alone, she said quietly. I've always carried it alone. Not anymore. Vincent looked at her. You don't understand what you're saying. Yes, I do. You're not alone anymore, Vincent. I see who you are. All of it. The good and the terrible. And I'm still here. His eyes glistened. Why? Because you're the first person who ever saw me too. Vincent set down his glass. Pulled her close. This time he kissed her. Soft. Careful. Like she was something precious. Mira kissed him back. It wasn't desperate. Wasn't wild. It was real. Honest. Two people choosing each other despite every reason not to. When they pulled apart, Vincent rested his forehead against hers. I love you, he whispered. I shouldn't. But I do. Myra's heart cracked open. I love you too. This won't end well. I don't care. You should. But I don't. They held each other. And for one perfect moment, nothing else existed. Not the violence. Not the danger. Not the world crashing down around them. Just them. The attack came 3 days later. Mira woke up to gunfire. She bolted upright. Heart racing, Vincent burst into her room, gun in hand. Get up. Now. What's happening? They're here. The Rossis. They're hitting the building. More gunfire. Shouting. Breaking glass. People died because of them. Don't take that on. You'll drown in it. Vincent closed his eyes. I'm so tired, Mira. I know. I've been fighting my whole life. And I don't know if I can keep doing this. Then don't. We'll find another way. There is no other way. This is who I am. This is all I know. Mira pulled him close. Then I'll be here. Through all of it. The war. The violence. The terrible choices. You're not alone anymore. Vincent held her so tight it hurt. They stood like that until his phone rang again. He answered. Listened. His expression hardened. I'm on my way. He hung up. What is it? Mira asked. They took someone. One of my men. They're going to kill him unless I surrender. You can't. I know. But I can trade. Trade what? Vincent looked at her. And in his eyes, she saw the decision he'd already made. Vincent. No. It's the only way. They'll kill you. Maybe. Maybe not. But if I don't go, Tommy dies. And his wife and 2 kids lose him. I'm not letting that happen. So you'll die instead? If that's what it takes. Mira grabbed his arm. No. There has to be another way. We can. There isn't. Vincent gently removed her hand. This is my world, Mira. This is what it means to be Moretti. Sometimes you have to make the call no one else can make. Then take me with you. Absolutely not. Vincent. You stay here. You stay safe. That's not negotiable. He walked to the weapons locker. Started loading guns. Mira watched, helpless. If something happens to me, Vincent said quietly, there's a man named Marcus. He's loyal. He'll get you out of the city. New identity. New life. Money enough to start over. I don't want a new life without you. Vincent stopped. Turned to her. Then let's make sure I come back. He kissed her. Hard. Desperate. Like it might be the last time. Then he left. Mira stood in the reinforced room, surrounded by steel and silence. And for the first time since all this started, she felt true, bone-deep terror. Would you go after him? Or would you stay safe? Mira lasted 10 minutes. Then she opened the door. A guard immediately blocked her path. Ma'am, Mr. Moretti said. I know what he said. Where did he go? I can't tell you that. Please. The guard's expression softened. Miss Mira, he'd kill me. He's walking into a trap. You know it. I know it. He needs backup. He has backup. 20 men. It won't be enough. The guard hesitated. Mira stepped closer. I'm going with or without your help. So either tell me where he is, or I walk out that door blind. The guard cursed under his breath. The old industrial park. South Side. Warehouse 12. Thank you. Take this. He handed her a gun. The same one Vincent had taught her to shoot. You remember how to use it? Yes. Stay behind cover. Don't be a hero. I won't. She was absolutely lying. The industrial park was a graveyard of failed businesses. Empty buildings. Broken windows. Shadows and rust. Mira approached from the east. Stayed low. Moved quiet. She could see Vincent's cars. 20 yards from Warehouse 12. Men with guns everywhere. This was insane. But she kept moving. She reached the back of the warehouse. Found a broken window. Climbed through. Inside, she could hear voices. She crept closer. Vincent stood in the center of the warehouse. Hands raised. No gun visible. In front of him, a man held a gun to another man's head. Tommy, she guessed. You're outnumbered, Moretti, the man said. He was older. Gray hair. Expensive suit. This had to be Rossi himself. Let him go, Vincent said calmly. You want me? Here I am. Not good enough. You've cost me millions. Killed my men. I want everything. Your territory. Your operations. Your life. Then take it. But let Tommy go first. He's nobody. Just a soldier. Rossi laughed. You think I'm stupid? The moment I let him go, your men storm this place. My men have orders. They don't move until Tommy's safe. I don't believe you. Vincent shrugged. Then we're at an impasse. Myra's hands shook. She counted the men. 8 with Rossi. Vincent had 20 outside. But if shooting started, Tommy was dead. Vincent was probably dead too. She had to do something. But what? Then she saw it. A catwalk above. Metal. Rusted. It ran right over where Rossi stood. If she could get up there. She moved. Quiet. Careful. Found a ladder. started climbing. Each step creaked. Too loud. Too slow. Below, the conversation continued. Last chance, Moretti. Your empire for his life. You'll kill him anyway. Probably. But at least you'll have tried. Vincent's jaw clenched. Fine. I'll give you what you want. But I need proof Tommy's alive. Let him speak. Rossi nodded. Remove the gag from Tommy's mouth. Boss, don't, Tommy started. Bang. Rossi shot him. Tommy collapsed. No. Vincent lunged. Guns raised everywhere. And Mira jumped. She crashed onto the catwalk above Rossi. Metal groaned. Bolts snapped. The whole structure tilted. Everyone looked up. Mira raised her gun. Aimed at Rossi. Let him go, she said. Her voice shook. Her hands shook. But the gun didn't. Rossi stared up at her. Well, this is unexpected. Let Vincent go or I shoot. You won't make it out alive. I don't care. Below, Vincent looked horrified. Mira, what are you doing? Saving you idiot. Rossi smiled. Moretti's girl. I should have known. You've got spirit. Stupid spirit, but spirit nonetheless. I'm going to count to 3, Mira said. 1. My men will kill you both. 2. Rossi's smile faded. You're bluffing. Mira pulled the trigger. Bang. She missed. On purpose. The bullet hit the ground inches from Rossi's foot. 3, she said. Next one doesn't miss. The warehouse erupted. Vincent's men stormed in. Rossi's men fired. Mira ducked as bullets tore through the catwalk. Metal screamed. The catwalk collapsed. Mira fell. Strong arms caught her. Vincent. He'd crossed the warehouse in seconds. Caught her mid-fall. Rolled with the impact. They hit the ground hard. Above them, gunfire. Chaos. Vincent covered her body with his. You stupid, reckless, beautiful idiot, he growled. You're welcome, Mira gasped. The fighting lasted 2 minutes. Vincent's men were better trained. Better armed. Rossi's men fell. Rossi himself tried to run. Vincent stood. Aimed. Fired. Rossi dropped. Silence. Smoke and shadows. Vincent helped Mira up. Checked her frantically. Are you hurt? I'm fine. You could have died. So could you. I told you to stay. I don't take orders from you. They stared at each other. Then Vincent kissed her. Hard. Desperate. Alive. When he pulled back, he was shaking. Don't ever do that again. Don't walk into death traps, and I won't have to. Despite everything, Vincent laughed. Deal. He turned to his men. Tommy? One of them checked. Shook his head. Vincent's face fell. He walked over. Knelt beside Tommy's body. Mira watched him close Tommy's eyes. Saw his shoulders shake once. Then he stood. Get him home. His wife deserves a chance to say goodbye. They drove back in silence. The sun was rising. Pink and gold and achingly beautiful. Vincent held Myra's hand the entire way. When they reached the penthouse, he pulled her into his arms. I can't do this without you, he whispered. You don't have to. This life, it's going to keep coming. More threats. More violence. More nights like this. I know. I can't promise you safety. I'm not asking for safety. I'm asking to be with you. Vincent pulled back. Looked at her. Then stay. No matter what comes. Stay. I will. And she meant it. The war with the Rossis ended that night. With their leader dead, the family fractured. Some fled the city. Others surrendered. A few tried to retaliate and were eliminated quickly. Vincent didn't celebrate. He attended Tommy's funeral. Paid for everything. Set up a trust for the widow and kids. And he made a decision. I'm done, he told Mira one night. They were on the balcony. The city sprawled below them like a circuit board. Done with what? Mira asked. This. The empire. The violence. All of it. Mira turned to him. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm walking away. I've been building an exit strategy for years. Legitimate businesses. Investments. Clean money. I can hand the illegal operations to Marcus. He's capable. Loyal. He'll keep the peace. And you? I disappear. We disappear. New city. New life. No more looking over our shoulders. Myra's heart pounded. You'd really do that? For you? Yes. For us? Absolutely. What about your family? Your mother and sister? They'll be safer if I'm not around. Marcus will protect them. They'll never know the difference. Vincent, you're giving up everything. He took her hands. No. I'm choosing something better. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing a life where I'm not drowning in blood every day. where I can actually be happy. Tears filled Myra's eyes. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. They kissed as the sun set, and Myra felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. The next 6 months were a blur. Vincent worked 16-hour days, meeting with lawyers, transferring assets, quietly selling off territories and operations to people he trusted. Marcus stepped up, proved himself capable. The transition was smooth. Myra helped where she could, learned the business. Not the violence, the logistics, the money, the moving pieces. She was good at it. Vincent noticed. You have a mind for this. Turns out I'm good with patterns, numbers, reading people. You could run an empire. I don't want an empire. I want a quiet life with you. Almost there, Vincent promised. But not everyone was happy about Vincent's exit. There were challenges. People who thought he was weak, who wanted to take what was his. Vincent handled them, sometimes with words, sometimes with violence. Myra stopped asking which. One night, Vincent came home with blood on his shirt. Last one, he said quietly. Last threat. Last fight. Myra helped him clean up, tended a cut on his shoulder. Are you okay? She asked. I am now. Vincent. He looked at her. I killed someone tonight. Someone I used to consider a friend. He tried to betray Marcus. Tried to undermine everything we built. Do you regret it? No. But I'm tired of it. Tired of being the man people fear. Tired of making decisions that cost lives. Then let's finish this. Let's get out. Vincent nodded. 2 more weeks. Then we're gone. Those 2 weeks crawled. But finally the day came. Vincent signed the last papers. Transferred the last accounts. Shook hands with Marcus. Take care of them, Vincent said. With my life, Marcus promised. What about you? I was never here. They left in the middle of the night. 1 car. 2 bags. Cash and new identities. Vincent drove. Myra watched the city disappear in the rearview mirror. Where are we going? She asked. Small town. Oregon coast. I bought a house there years ago. No one knows about it. What's it like? Quiet. Small. Boring. Myra smiled. Perfect. They drove through the night. And with every mile, Vincent Moretti became someone else. Someone new. Someone free. The house was exactly what Vincent promised. Small. Wooden. Perched on a cliff overlooking the ocean. No neighbors for miles. Just trees and water and sky. Myra stood on the porch, breathing salt air. It's beautiful, she whispered. Vincent stood beside her. It's ours. They moved in slowly. Unpacked their few belongings. Bought furniture from local shops. Vincent grew a beard. Started wearing jeans instead of suits. Myra painted. Read. Walked on the beach every morning. There were strangers in this town. No one knew them. No one cared. It was perfect. But the past didn't let go easily. Vincent had nightmares. Woke up gasping. Reaching for guns that weren't there. Myra held him. Whispered that he was safe. That it was over. Slowly, the nightmares faded. Myra had her own demons. Some days, she'd look over her shoulder. Convinced someone was watching. Vincent would take her hand. Remind her they were free. They healed together. 3 months in, Vincent got a job. At a hardware store. Myra stared at him. You're working at a hardware store. I like fixing things. You used to run a criminal empire. I know. This is better. He wasn't wrong. Myra watched him become someone she'd never seen before. Relaxed. Happy. Human. He laughed more. Smiled more. Touched her more. Not just in passion, but in small moments. A hand on her back. Fingers brushing her hair away. Little things that said, I'm here. I'm happy. I choose this. 6 months in, they got married. No ceremony. No guests. Just them and a justice of the peace. Myra wore a simple white dress. Vincent wore the only suit he'd kept. They exchanged vows on the beach at sunset. I promise to choose you, Vincent said, every day. For the rest of my life. I promise to stay, Myra said, through everything. Forever. They kissed as the waves crashed. And Myra felt complete for the first time in her life. 1 year after they left, a letter arrived. No return address. Just their fake names on the envelope. Vincent opened it carefully. Inside, a single sheet of paper. They're safe. The business is stable. You were right to leave. Thank you for everything. M. Marcus. Vincent closed his eyes. Smiled. Everything okay? Myra asked. Yeah. Just confirmation that the past is actually past. He burned the letter in the fireplace. They never spoke of it again. 2 years in, on a quiet Tuesday, Mira made breakfast. Vincent came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist. "I love you," he said. "I know. No, I mean," he turned her around. "I really love you. More than I thought I could love anything. You saved me, Mira." Tears filled her eyes. "You saved me too. We saved each other." "Yeah, we did." They ate breakfast together. Talked about nothing. Everything. Vincent mentioned maybe adopting a dog. Mira suggested they could foster kids someday. Give them the home she never had. Vincent loved the idea. They made plans. Simple. Beautiful. Real. That afternoon they walked on the beach. Vincent picked up stones, threw them into the ocean. "Do you ever miss it?" Mira asked. "Miss what?" "The power. The control. The life you had." Vincent thought about it. "Sometimes. Not the violence, but the certainty. Knowing my place in the world. And now I'm figuring out who I am without all that." He looked at her. "And honestly, I like this version better. Even though you're nobody here, I'm not nobody. I'm yours. That's enough." Mira leaned into him. They watched the sunset. And Vincent realized something. For the first time in his life, he wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. He was just living. 3 years in, they thought they were untouchable. They were wrong. It started with a stranger in town. Vincent noticed him first. Man in his 30s. Out of place. Too well-dressed. Eyes that scanned too carefully. "We might have a problem," Vincent told Mira that night. "What kind of problem?" "Someone's asking questions. About us." Myra's stomach dropped. "Are you sure?" "No. But my instincts are screaming." They packed go-bags. Just in case. Made plans to leave if necessary. But Vincent wanted to be sure first. The next day, the stranger approached Vincent at the hardware store. "You're a hard man to find, Mr. Moretti." Vincent's blood went cold. He turned slowly. "I think you have me confused with someone else." The stranger smiled. "No, I don't. I work for Marcus. He sent me. I don't know anyone named Marcus. Please, don't insult both of us. I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to warn you." Vincent's jaw clenched. "Warn me about what?" "Someone found out you're alive. Someone with a grudge. They're coming." "Who?" "Antonio Rossi. The old man's nephew. He's been looking for you for 3 years. And he finally found you." Vincent's world tilted. "How?" "I don't know. But Marcus wanted you to know. You have maybe 48 hours. The stranger handed him a card. "That's a number. Use it if you need help." Marcus's orders. He left. Vincent stood frozen. Then he ran home. "We have to leave," Vincent said. "Right now." Mira didn't argue. They grabbed their bags. Got in the car. But as they pulled out, 3 cars blocked the road. Men got out. Armed. Vincent cursed. Reversed. Another car appeared behind them. They were trapped. "Stay in the car," Vincent said. "Like hell." They got out together. A man approached. Young. Angry. Gun in hand. Antonio Rossi. "Finally," Antonio said. 3 years. 3 years you've been hiding like a coward." "I left that life," Vincent said calmly. "I'm no threat to you. You killed my uncle. Your uncle tried to kill me first. It was business. It was murder." Antonio raised the gun. "And now I'm going to—" "Wait." The voice came from behind Antonio. Marcus stepped forward. Vincent's eyes widened. "What are you doing here?" "Keeping a promise." Marcus looked at Antonio. "Put the gun down. Stay out of this." "Can't do that." Antonio laughed bitterly. "You're going to protect him? He abandoned you. Abandoned the family." "He gave me everything," Marcus said calmly. "He trusted me with the empire. Gave me a life. And he asked one thing, keep his family safe. That includes him. He's not family anymore. He'll always be family." Marcus stepped closer. "Antonio, your uncle started a war he couldn't finish. Vincent ended it. That's the game. You know the rules." "I don't care about the rules." "Then you're going to die today," Marcus said quietly. "Because I brought 20 men. And they're all loyal to me. To the memory of what Vincent built. You want revenge? Fine. But you'll die getting it." Silence. Antonio looked around. Saw the shadows moving in the trees. The glint of weapons. He was outgunned. Outplayed. He lowered the gun slowly. "This isn't over." "Yes it is," Marcus said. "Go home, Antonio. Take over your uncle's territory. Build something. Or don't. But leave Vincent alone. He's earned his peace." Antonio stared at Vincent with pure hatred. You're a coward. I'm a man who chose to live, Vincent replied. There's a difference. Antonio spat on the ground, got back in his car. His men followed. They drove away. Vincent exhaled, turned to Marcus. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. You saved my life a dozen times over. This is just returning the favor. How did you know? I have eyes everywhere. The moment Antonio started asking questions, I knew. I've been tracking him for 2 weeks. Thank you. Marcus nodded. This is the last time, Vincent. I can't protect you forever. You need to disappear. Really disappear. New names. New place. Cut all ties. I understand. Marcus looked at Mira. Take care of him. He's terrible at taking care of himself. Mira smiled despite everything. I know. Marcus left. Vincent and Mira stood alone on the empty road. We can't stay here, Mira said. No. We can't. Where do we go? Vincent pulled her close. Anywhere. Everywhere. As long as we're together. That's not a plan. It's the only plan I need. They got in the car. Drove away from the house they'd built. Away from the life they'd created. But they weren't running scared. They were choosing freedom. Again. They drove for 3 days. Stopped at motels. Paid cash. Used fake names. Vincent grew quieter with each mile. On the 3rd night, in a cheap motel room somewhere in Montana, Mira found him sitting on the floor, staring at nothing. Talk to me, she said softly. I'm tired, Mira. I know. I thought it was over. I thought we'd finally escaped. We did. For 3 years. 3 years, Vincent repeated. Is that all we get? 3 years of peace before it all comes back. Mira sat beside him. Maybe. But they were a good 3 years. They were the best years of my life. Mine too. Vincent looked at her. Do you regret it? Choosing me? Never. Even though we're running again? We're not running. We're starting over. There's a difference. Vincent shook his head. I don't know how many times I can start over. As many times as it takes. What if it's never enough? What if there's always someone coming? Always another threat? Mira took his face in her hands. Then we deal with it. Together. Like we always have. Vincent, I didn't fall in love with you because you promised me safety. I fell in love with you because you made me feel alive. I brought you nothing but danger. You've brought me everything. She kissed him softly. A reason to wake up. Someone to care about. A home. Not a place, but a feeling. You gave me that. And I'm not giving it up just because the road is hard. Vincent's eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. He laughed through the tears. Pulled her close. They held each other on the floor of a cheap motel room. And decided that wherever they went next, they'd go together. They found it 2 weeks later. A small mountain town in Colorado. Population, 800. No one asked questions. No one cared about strangers. They rented a cabin. Paid 6 months up front. It was smaller than the Oregon house. Rougher around the edges. But it was theirs. Vincent got a job at a local garage. Turned out he was good with cars. Mira worked at the library. Quiet. Peaceful. Perfect. They made friends slowly. The waitress at the diner. The old man who owned the bookstore. A couple who ran the general store. Normal people. Normal lives. It felt like a dream. 6 months in, Mira realized she was late. She took a test. Positive. She stared at it for 10 minutes. Then she cried. Not from fear. From joy. That night, she told Vincent. He looked at her like she'd just told him he won the lottery. Are you sure? Yes. You're pregnant? Yes. Vincent dropped to his knees. Put his hands on her stomach. Hey little one, he whispered. I'm your dad. And I promise, I'm going to give you a better life than I had. You're going to grow up safe. Loved. Free. Mira ran her fingers through his hair, tears streaming down her face. This was what they'd been fighting for. But as Myra's belly grew, so did Vincent's fear. He became obsessive. Checked the doors 10 times before bed. Watched every car that drove by. Vincent, you're spiraling, Mira said one night. I'm being careful. You're being paranoid. Someone could find us again. Someone could hurt you. Hurt the baby. Or no one will. We've been here almost a year. Nothing's happened. Yet. Mira took his hand. You can't live like this. We can't raise a child in fear. I don't know how to stop. Then get help. Talk to someone. I'm not going to therapy. Why not? Because I can't tell a therapist who I really am. What I've done. Then tell me. All of it. Every terrible thing. Every regret. Get it out. Let it go. Vincent looked at her. You don't want to hear it. Yes, I do. So he told her. Everything. The first man he killed. How his hands shook. How he threw up after. The way it got easier. Too easy. The people he hurt. The families he destroyed. The empire built on blood and fear. He talked for hours. Mira listened. Didn't judge. Didn't look away. Just listened. When he was done, he felt empty. Hollow. I'm a monster, he whispered. You were a product of your circumstances, Mira said. You did what you thought you had to do to survive. To protect people. That doesn't make it right. But it doesn't make you irredeemable either. How can you still love me after hearing all that? Because I know who you are now. Not who you were forced to be. And the man you are now. He's good. He's kind. He's going to be an amazing father. Vincent broke down. Sobbed like a child. Mira held him. And slowly, the weight he'd been carrying began to lift. Their daughter was born on a Tuesday in March. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Tiny fists. Dark hair like her father. They named her Hope. Vincent held her for the first time and cried. She's perfect, he whispered. She's ours, Mira said. They brought her home to the cabin. The first few weeks were chaos. Sleepless nights. Constant feedings. Learning how to be parents. But Vincent was a natural. He changed diapers without complaint. Sang off-key lullabies. Paced the floor at 3 a.m. when Hope couldn't sleep. Mira watched him fall completely in love with this tiny human. And she fell even more in love with him. Hope grew. 6 months. 1 year. 2 years. She was bright. Curious. Fearless. She had Vincent's eyes and Myra's smile. And she was loved beyond measure. Vincent taught her to be kind. To be strong. To stand up for what's right. Mira taught her to be curious. To ask questions. To never stop learning. Together, they gave her the childhood neither of them had. When Hope was 3, someone knocked on their door. Vincent answered, Hope on his hip. Marcus stood there. Older. Grayer. But alive. Marcus, Vincent breathed. Hey boss. Don't call me that. Marcus smiled. Old habits. Vincent looked around. Are you alone? Yes. And I wasn't followed. I promise. Vincent let him in. Mira appeared cautious but polite. Marcus. Mira. Good to see you. And this must be Hope. Hope hid her face in Vincent's shoulder. What are you doing here? Vincent asked. I wanted to see you. Make sure you were okay. It's been 4 years. You shouldn't have come. If anyone followed you. No one followed me. I'm careful. And besides, I have news. They sat. Hope played with her toys in the corner. What news? Vincent asked. Antonio Rossi is dead. Car accident. 3 months ago. Vincent froze. Are you sure? Positive. I verified it myself. He was the last one, Vincent. Everyone else either forgot about you or moved on. You're free. Really free. Myra's eyes filled with tears. Vincent couldn't speak. It's over, Marcus said quietly. You can stop looking over your shoulder. You can actually live. Vincent stood, walked to the window, stared out at the mountains. Why did you come all this way to tell me? He asked. Because you deserve to know. And because, Marcus hesitated. Because you were the only person who ever believed in me. Who gave me a chance. I wanted to return the favor. One last time. Vincent turned. Thank you. Marcus stood. Take care of your family, Vincent. You earned this. You could stay. For dinner. Marcus smiled. No. This is your life now. I don't belong in it. But I'm glad I got to see it. They shook hands. Then on impulse, Vincent hugged him. Marcus hugged back. Be happy, Marcus said. You too. Marcus left. Vincent closed the door. Turned to Mira. She was crying. It's really over, she whispered. It's really over. They held each other. Hope toddled over, hugged their legs. Why crying? She asked. Vincent picked her up. Happy tears, sweetheart. Just happy tears. That night, Vincent slept through the entire night. No nightmares. No fear. Just peace. Hope was 8 now. Smart. Confident. Full of life. She had a little brother, Liam. 5 years old. Just as bright. Just as loved. Vincent ran his own mechanic shop. Small. Honest work. Mira managed the town library and wrote in her spare time. She'd published 2 novels under a pen name. They'd bought a house. Nothing fancy. but it had a big yard, a porch, room for a dog, a golden retriever named Bear. On weekends they hiked, had picnics, taught the kids to fish. They attended school plays, bake sales, town meetings. They were just another family. Normal, boring, perfect. One evening, Vincent and Mira sat on the porch while the kids played in the yard. "Do you ever think about it?" Mira asked. "The old life." "Sometimes," Vincent admitted, "but not with longing. More like curiosity, wondering who I would have been if I'd never left." "Do you regret leaving?" Vincent looked at Hope chasing Liam, heard their laughter, felt the peace settling in his bones. "Not for a second," he said. Mira leaned into him. "Me neither." They sat in comfortable silence. The sun set, pink and gold and beautiful. Vincent thought about the journey, the violence, the fear, the running. All of it had led here, to this moment, to this life, to this family. And he realized something. He wasn't Vincent Moretti anymore. That man was dead, buried in the past. He was just Vincent now, a mechanic, a husband, a father, and that was more than enough. "I love you," he said to Mira. "I love you too." Hope ran up to the porch. "Daddy, watch me do a cartwheel." Vincent smiled. "Show me, sweetheart." She did a wobbly cartwheel, fell at the end, but she jumped up laughing. "That was perfect," Vincent said. "Really? Really?" She beamed, ran back to play with Liam and Bear. Mira squeezed Vincent's hand. "We did it," she whispered. "We did." They'd survived the Mafia, the violence, the war. They'd survived their pasts, and they'd built something beautiful from the ashes. A life worth living, a love worth fighting for. And in the end, that was all that mattered. Some people are born into darkness. Some choose it. But the bravest ones? They fight their way into the light. And they never let go. What would you have done? Comment below. The end.